And I want to just go across to my colleague Alok, who's there in Bihar. And Alok, obviously all the exit polls are out. A couple of exit polls, including the NDTV exit polls, saying that the NDA is likely to win tomorrow. Bunch of other exit polls saying that no, it's going to be the Mahagathbandhan that is going to win. So what's really the atmosphere and the mood out there? Is everyone just confused, like we are?
I guess that could also be the feeling, because I was just speaking to somebody who was saying that we might both end up going to a hung assembly in the next few days. So that could very well be the case. But both sides very confident all through the day. Lalu Yadav, in fact, has been at his home for 2 days, has been calling press conferences and saying that we're going to win 190 seats. You come and see tomorrow. Where the BJP also has been quietly confident. They've been meeting each other. They've been at party offices. There's been a large crowd at their party offices where they have also been saying that no, ultimately we are the ones who are going to be proved right. So really now it's just another 12 hours to go. We'll know who is right and who is wrong. But both sides very confident that they are the ones doing well. If you go by the NDTV exit poll, of course, it is the NDA that has a slight edge on the basis of their showing in the fifth phase. But both sides confident. Even Nitish Kumar, we believe, spent a quiet day, but a confident day meeting with his with people who he trusts, saying that it is he who is going to cross the finishing line first. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Just another few hours now.
All right, hello. Thanks for joining us. You better go get some rest. I'm sure it's a long day for you tomorrow. A lot of excitement there on this. I guess there's a lot of excitement there. Where everyone waiting to spend a long day in front of their TV screens, and it could be a thriller. It could go all the way down to the wire, to coin some cricketing phrases. ओके हेलो, थैंक्स फॉर बीइंग विद अस। रवीश जी, अब आप बताइए, आप इतना घूमे हैं, आप तो जानते हैं हर एक सीट कौन जीत रहा है, तो आप बता दीजिए। लिखा होगा आपके पास
76,000 के सैंपल को एकदम से ना कहना, मतलब गट्स चाहिए उसके लिए कि, और फिर सॉलिड रीजन चाहिए उसके कि ये क्या गलत होगा। लेकिन जो घूमते हुए देखकर तो लगा नहीं कि महागठबंधन की हार होने वाली है। जो देखा वो मैं लगा रहा हूँ, बता रहा हूं। पर मैंने 76,000 लोगों से बात नहीं की, 76,000 लोगों का सैंपल सर्वे नहीं किया, इतना वैरायटी डाइवर्स नहीं किया, तो लगा कि महागठबंधन आगे है। और आप आलोक से पूछ रहे थे कि पटना जिसने ठीक से वोट नहीं किया, वो इस वक्त बीजेपी के लिए खुश नजर आ रहा है। सड़कों पे जो माहौल है, जो मेरी बातचीत हो रही थी पटना से लोगों से, लेकिन अभी भी जो जर्नलिस्ट हैं, जो ब्यूरोक्रेट्स हैं, जिन लोगों से मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, लोग कन्विंस नहीं हैं कि ये रिजल्ट आएगा। लेकिन ग्राउंड पे एक सिचुएशन बदल रही है कि हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में जहां हम सुनते थे कि यहां महागठबंधन को स्वीप है, अब लोग कह रहे हैं कि दोनों में कांटे की टक्कर है। अब कांटे की टक्कर में मुझे लगता है कि एडवांटेज हमेशा बीजेपी की तरफ होगी, क्योंकि वो स्ट्रेटेजी, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इन सब चीजों से भी बेहतर लड़ी है महागठबंधन।
Organization का तो असर पड़ेगा, but I just want to bring this graphic up because this is I think something really important that everyone needs to keep in mind as to what the actual starting point is. Because you look at 2014, which is last year, obviously the BJP did really well, the NDA did really well, but, and there's a very important but out here, you've got to remember that the JDU and the RJD and the Congress were not fighting together, they were separate. And as a result of that, obviously, the BJP and Mr. Paswan did exceptionally well. If you look at the assembly segments which that constitutes, it's about 172 is what it was. However, now there is an alliance. So if you look at the same voting pattern as 2014, given that there's now a Mahagathbandhan, then actually that means that they have the edge and they would have won, and they would have won rather comfortably, as you can see from those statistics. So that's the starting point. And from there, we have to see which way did votes swing, one way or the other. So, Mother God Yakshi, let me get you in before I go across to the JDU. The logic of that arithmetic is the one thing that would still be giving you a certain amount of hope right now, because it would need a swing, a further swing in favor of the BJP from 2014, and a fairly substantial swing in their favor from 2014 to get over the logic of the arithmetic. And that is, of course, assuming that the votes are additive. Of course, it's possible that some of Lalu Yadav's voters did not vote for the JDU or the other way around, or your voters for that matter.
No, our indications and our information, and it's clearly establishes that Mahagathbandhan is winning hands down. If you look at one of the story today in Indian Express, Vikram, the Axis firm which is given about 183 seats to, before pre-election campaign started, it was 4% advantage to the NDA, but once 5 phases polling is over, it's showing advantage to the Mahagathbandhan. So we are very confident. But here, like quickly, I want to make 2 points here, Vikram. How the BJP is even manipulating some of these opinion polls. You know, on the 2nd October, the Honorable Prime Minister has no time to visit Shastriji's Samadhi,
So, you know,
but he goes to Baka and starts straight from
every
there.
time
and
it
comes up
happens that
into
whoever
Safai
is
Common
losing on the
hashtag.
opinion poll
And
says
the
they're being
NDTV,
manipulated.
see, NDTV gets an ED notice. NDTV gets ED notice.
Come on,
and
sir.
they try
Madhu, you've
to
got to be
influence and
serious.
how
You've
they're
got to be
intolerant,
serious. I
How
mean,
the tolerant,
please,
how the
please,
tolerant and intolerant, how this BJP is working
Please,
on the Modi. India is
please
tolerant, it's always
be
said. But
serious.
it is,
Please be serious.
it is.
Are you
BJP
really
and
accusing-
Modi,
They don't want
Modi
to
is
do it.
intolerant.
You know something? I really feel that it is a bizarre thing that you are saying, to say that opinion polls or exit polls are
I'm
going
not
to be
saying that you get
manipulated
influenced.
on
By
behalf of
Modi-
one or the
Modi-
other.
Modi
And that's
is
actually it's
intolerant.
strange that
Why
you're
is
saying
Modi
that.
intolerant?
holding an exit poll
You have
because
all respect to
Bharat-
NDTV.
How does it matter? By the way,
You-
by the way,
you
Madhu,
stood-
Madhu, can I
you
ask you, how does it
stood
matter?
strongly.
How
But
does
it
it
is
help
Modi
anybody to manipulate an
influencing.
exit
How
poll
is trying
for
to-
2
Yeah.
days
Ballots
to
are
make the
sealed now.
BJP happy? It's not
That's
also that
what they're
voting
trying
is
to
on,
do.
so there'll be a bandwagon effect.
Ballots are sealed.
So what are you saying? That somebody will spend a lot of
During the
time and
ODM
effort and
serious
money to
discussion
manipulate
again.
an exit poll to make the BJP happy for 2 days, and then the results will be out tomorrow. Is that what you're really saying?
And risk
Seriously?
risk is credibility.
There are a lot of
Vikram,
stock
just now we
market
spoke
involved.
about
I
killing
mean,
the messenger
30
and this
Years and
Yakshi
years
is
of
doing
credibility
the
is
same
put on the
thing.
line. Sorry, Nalin, do you want to respond to this?
I mean, I don't want to respond to that because I think we should get back to a serious discussion. The topic is serious, and the only thing I find is the Congress spokesperson doesn't want to speak
The matter
Bihar.
is serious,
And then he
Nalin.
says we are winning it. So, I mean, it probably is
Matter
a
is
clear
serious,
indication that now they
How
probably are realizing
intolerant
that the
your
Congress is a paper
exhibit
party.
today.
Okay, Shekhar?
That's
I
what
just want to
you-
get your take
you
on
don't
this, sir.
forget
How does
you
it
are a
actually help to
two
be-
member? In 84, you were only 2 MPs in Helen. Don't forget that. Don't be too arrogant.
No, it's not arrogant.
Every 5 years,
Madhuji-
you get elections.
Now we are going a different tangent.
Madhuji,
So I think
Let's see.
this
Let's
is
see
becoming
tomorrow.
this is becoming a private battle.
This is really funny.
Look, parties built from
And you can't win, because on the one hand you have the BJP, which is sitting and saying, as we saw today, that why are you guys so anti the BJP, and our reporters are being heckled and XYZ.
No, hold
for
on.
that.
Even in all fairness, Shekhar pointed out, to which you accepted,
Yeah, they
that you
weren't
can't
necessarily
say
BJP.
that supporters of a party are necessarily being driven
Okay,
by an
but
agenda
actually-
of the party. Now you bring it up.
But
So you're doing a
no,
U-turn in
the
your own
reason I'm
program.
saying it, the reason I'm saying it is
You're doing a
because
U-turn in your own program.
No, the reason I'm saying it is, I'm not saying those
Vikram,
people have
with
necessarily.
the due
If you look at
respect
what's
to
been happening on
NDTV,
Twitter
what
all
I'm
through the
saying-
day.
It's okay. So if I go by the same thing, I get a
NDTV
lot of things
deserves
on
this
Twitter
because
too.
you're anti the BJP, and
Right.
now he says that NDTV is manipulating a poll because you're in favor. You're in favor of the BJP.
With
and someone should
respect,
make up their minds.
I get also on Twitter people saying that they have their freedom of expression and speech. We leave it,
Okay,
let them
we be
say.
tolerant to them.
We
Look, I
believe
think,
it.
I think let me answer the question that Madhu raised. He said BJP was reduced to 2 in 1984. So, as a congressman, he needs to introspect. BJP worked for 30 years between 84 and 2014 to get to 283 from 2. Congress party has worked for 30 years to get from 413 to 44. Right? So, Congress party needs to introspect as to why this has happened. And frankly,
And by the way, the Congress better have a plan as
We
to how it's
appreciate
going to come
your
back from
frankly,
44.
We
because-
appreciate
this
your
frankly,
concern, but
BJP
worry
could-
about you. You
Wait,
Nalin, you have a clear majority, but you're worried. Even you're not even announcing the dates for Parliament session. Why it is so important one state election?
No, look-
when you have so majority.
Look, I think
So this is exactly
what
trying to
Congress
say.
needs
Why you getting
needs to
so
consider
desperate?
is that if 2 could be built to 283, how do you go forward from 44?
I'm just trying to quote you. You think that you're paper party, and at the same time you says Congress.
You know,
is
may
in
I
power
clear
for
your
60
confusion?
years.
Mr.
Now you're
Shekhar
saying it's a
Gupta
paper
is
party.
speaking, not Nalin Kohli. Now I'm speaking. So I just want to clear your confusion. Your entire argument is still without basis.
I
Now your
can't
attack
see.
is without basis.
Your
Can we get
NDTV
serious
put
and come
me-
back to Bihar?
you put
Or
me-
does the Congress
I
want to
can't
keep
see
this,
there's no
I think
TV
it looks
extraneous to a
Madhu-
serious discussion we're
Madhu,
trying to
the
have
only-
here?
Talking.
The only similarity between Nalin and me is the way our heads look, right? Otherwise, we have
I can't see who's
many arguments.
I can't see who's speaking, so I'm
Shekhar,
right on
that's
the
funny.
street here.
Okay,
I don't
all
have
right.
it in front of me.
Let me get somebody else, Sandeep.
Yeah.
I mean, like, For starters, can we start by being a little tolerant to exit pollsters who know we
Yeah,
are
so
very
like
tough job?
Vikram, we started this.
He'll be
show-
quite happy now.
No. We started this show by talking about shooting the messenger, all those things. So what we
And
started.
everyone seems to be shooting the messenger.
That's
It's
what
free
Mr.
for all,
Akshi is
all
doing.
sides.
That's what Mr.
It's
Akshi
open
is.
season.
So
A lot of
let's
us
see.
have.
See, my point insofar as we are talking about Bihar.
Lalit, I
and-
mean, you may have. If you were sitting out here with NDTV having done an exit poll which says that the Mahagathbandhan has got 140.
But yesterday,
Vikram,
I stand by my comments.
May
what
I
said yesterday.
make my point? Now that we are talking about Bihar, and as you said, within 12 hours we are going to know as to which of the alliances are going to win or lose. See, my point is very basic. Bihar electorate are far more intelligent than any other electorate. That's within my understanding. I have lots of friends from Bihar. I have deep respect for people from Bihar. So the electorates in Bihar is not going to elect another government which will take them back to the era where kidnapping and ransom become an industry, where an entire generation of students, entrepreneurs, doctors and professionals had to migrate out of Bihar. So the bottom line is tomorrow maybe that will be a manifestation for that thought process. And since we are talking about the Bihar results, there are various exit polls. There are exit polls conducted by you also, which has given a slight margin to NDA. And I think, as we all know, a slight margin given by NDTV has its own, significance and impact.
You're starting off.
So
It's like,
no,
Ravish ji,
all I'm
यहाँ
saying,
करे तो नहीं जीत सकते हैं, वहाँ करे तो नहीं जीत सकते हैं, दोनों तरफ से
all I'm
पिटाई
saying,
होनी है।
I'm taking on from what Ravish ji said. He said the sample survey is 76,000, which cannot be neglected. So my argument of the poll that will come out tomorrow is basis that, and
Very
I'm not
well.
making a rhetoric. I'm making an argument that number one, they are not going to re-elect somebody
so-
who will bring in an era of kidnapping.
All
And
right, so let me get Chirag past one. And Chirag, feel free. What is your? Why don't you tell us? I mean, although all of this is going to be really answered in 13, 14 hours, so I'm about to change my focus to what the implication is going to be. But what is your gut feeling telling you? What's going to happen tomorrow?
Past 1 month, I have done almost 150 rallies. So, and wherever that I have gone, I have campaigned for BJP, I have campaigned for Rashtriya Lok Samta Party, for Majiji's party, I have campaigned for, of course, my party, Lok Jan Shakti Party. So, the kind of response that I get from the masses, that gives me the confidence that definitely we forming the government now.
Okay, let me now come to a bit of the specifics. That's what the exit polls really seem to be showing. And if you look at the factors that perhaps have done really well for you and for the BJP, partly it seems to be the forward casts were always supporting you, and they've supported you apparently again with a massive majority. But it's really the Dalit vote, the scheduled caste vote, which seems to have come in a very major way towards the BJP. So is that, what do you think the factors are? Of course, your party, your national presidents, of course, there, but also the Manji factor. Has that been something that you think has played out in a very major way?
Vikramji, I am a young Bihari, and I honestly, I think I and a lot of other young Biharis of my state, I think we don't believe in the caste setup, we don't believe in the caste scenario anymore. I think my personal fight is against poverty, and it is for the poor. And I think every section of the society belongs to this particular section of a poor society, of a poor class. So I think everybody who's looking forward to a developed state, everybody who's looking forward for the securities of their generation and their coming generation, I think they are voting for us. And definitely a major role is played by Maji ji and our national president Ramvilas Paswan ji. A major role is played by them in this alliance.
All right, I do want to go across to Arun Kumar Srivastava of the JDU who's with us, but for some reason the signal is playing truant. There's probably a conspiracy theory behind that also, but we'll try and speak to him in a minute. Madhukar Yakshi, just looking at the arithmetic that should have really led the Mahagathbandhan to a big alliance, if it is still, whatever you may say, it is still looks to being a pretty tight fight. Do you think it's that Dalit factor that may well be a really decisive factor this time around?
I think if my information, our information, party information here, Vikram, even Mr. Manji is losing in both the seats. And I think I spoke to a few of my BJP friends in Bihar. Even they are not confident. They're sitting MPs. So I'm quite confident, and my Mahagathbandhan, our leaders also quite confident that this is not going to be a tight fight. It's going to be a clean sweep. in favor of Mahagathbandhan.
नंदन बाबू, रवि जी, जब आपने लोगों से बात की वहाँ, तो आपको भी क्या यही देखने को आपने लोग क्या कह रहे थे, किस किस्म के रुझान आप देख रहे थे?
विक्रम, जो चिराग कह रहे हैं कि मैं भी चिराग के जितना ही यंग बिहारी हूँ और बाहर आया हूँ, इसको इतना भी एक इलेक्शन में 2010 का जब रिजल्ट आया था तो नीतीश ने खुद कहा था कि कास्ट का रिजल्ट नहीं है, ये डेवलपमेंट का रिजल्ट है। और 5 साल के भीतर में वही बिहारी इलेक्टोरेट जो 2014 में नीतीश को वोट नहीं करता है, नरेंद्र मोदी को वोट करता है कि सेंटर की सरकार चुननी है, अचानक उसके वो सही बात है कि उसके इंटेलेक्ट पे हमें शक नहीं करना चाहिए, लेकिन होलियर देन दाव भी नहीं समझना चाहिए। बिहार का जो यंग है वो कास्ट में डूबा हुआ है, उसके खून में जात है और वो जात के हिसाब से डिसाइड करता है लोगों के हिसाब से। तो अचानक उसको हम ये ना समझे कि वो मार्च से लैंड किया है पटना में और उसने अपने कास्ट को छोड़ दिया है, तो ऐसा भी नहीं है कि उसकी सारी चीज़ें, उसके फ्रेंड लिस्ट को अगर आप देखेंगे तो उसमें कास्ट ज़्यादा मैटर करता है। इवन कि स्कूल में टीचर ने, हमारे टीचर ने भी प्रमोट किया कि तुम ओबीसी स्टूडेंट के साथ कैसे बात करते हो। ये मैं, हमारे नीस पढ़ती हैं वहाँ पे, जो बच्चे पढ़ते हैं उनके कन्वर्सेशन से भी ये बातें पता चलती हैं। और पूरे सोसाइटी की रियलिटी वो कास्ट है। तो उसका यंग वोटर जो है वो कोई यंग मतलब कहीं से नहीं चलाया है कि एकदम किसी फैक्ट्री से, रीबॉक या नाइकी के फैक्ट्री से निकला है जूता पहन के और वो कास्ट फ्री हो गया है। सो आई डोंट एग्री विद दैट assumption कि इवन इफ बीजेपी विंस, इवन इफ आरजेडी और जेडीयू विंस, caste is there.
That's an interesting take, and let me now throw that actually question to all of you. And Nalan, let me start with you, because there is a sense that, look, it's in the year 2015, it is almost fashionable and popular to say, look, the election should be fought on development and development and development. But at the end of the day, what certainly happens in Bihar is, as he says, first of all, caste equations do come into it. And secondly, in this election, we did see a certain amount of the communal elements which were injected into the election. And if that leads to a certain sort of a result, is that going to again get people thinking that, look, it's all very well to keep talking about development, but at the end of the day, to win elections, you've got to go into caste, you've got to go into communal issues?
Well, I have a few points to make. First, let's start from the question on the caste. There have been elections that have been focused that the outcome of the election should be the caste. And I think we moved on from that. While caste may be a factor and where people may appeal because of affinity, because of access, because of community, beyond it, what's the agenda of the election becomes important. What is to be the outcome once the government has come in? And that's where the developmental question, I think, has become now national. People want development. It is not as if they want only empowerment, they want development also.
Did your party did your party not take a deliberate decision at some point during this election to say that that's all very well, but we do need to perhaps raise the communal temperatures in some areas?
That's what I'm coming next.
Did that happen deliberately?
I'm answering this because I have a few points to make. The second point is, in terms of what we tend to say is a communal agenda, or the arguments that come up, it was a heated election. My experience of the last maybe 2 decades, first as a journalist, then in a political party, every election has its heated moments. I don't think you have an election without heated moments. Second, what happens is the extreme point, or a point that is seen as, important from the media's perspective, gets hyped, but that does not mean the speech of leader after leader is only focused on that. I'll safely say that probably 95% of the speeches at all times are focused to development, core issues there. And it's only there after the small part that comes up.
You heard those speeches, you heard what was happening there. Would you agree with him? That's what most people were talking about, development, and it's only the media which keeps speaking up the cow and the other such things.
I think there was a definite effort at polarization, and this effort picked up towards the last 2 phases. Because I think everybody knows demographics of various regions now. And because these last 2 phases had more of the areas with Muslim population, so polarization was carried out. At the same time, I would say that development or optimism is not something that you can fully discount. I spoke to even fewer.
So if it was communalized, Shekhar, in the last 2 phases, and if, as the exit poll shows, at least the NDTV exit poll, that the last 2 phases may have gone very well for the BJP and the NDA, is that a signal that communal polarization therefore works and is the way to go forward?
Well, it certainly works. I mean, it works for BJP, it also worked for Congress. I'm not drawing an equivalence, but you have to, in politics is a dirty business. You see your opportunity. In 1984, you were too young, I can say that to you. Rajiv Gandhi's Rajiv Gandhi's advertisements.
Yeah, naturally.
Hang on. Rajiv
no one has the right to be holier than thou on this.
Rajiv Gandhi ka ऐलान नहीं बनेगा खालिस्तान.
Yeah.
This is just after the massacre of 6, and you remember those advertisements.
It worked in 84
with barbed wire. With barbed wire.
Taxi walas, all that. Yeah, so it's not the first.
So the only thing is,
I think the point I'm trying to make, Shekhar, is that was 1984. Yes, obviously communal polarization has worked, but there was a sense that maybe we're now going to at some point start moving beyond it.
I think you get a mix of everything. For example, in Bihar, my reading is slightly different from Ravish's. I've not met even as many people as he's done, plus I'm not a Bihari, but I did find, it's just an observation, that a young Indian now, even from lower or backward castes, once he gets a motorbike, a smartphone, some education and some income, prefers to think like a forward caste citizen.
Let me ask Chirag Paswan this question, that Chirag, at the end of the day, was this, when you were seeing what the campaign was happening, and especially last 3 or 4 phases, was there a lot of communal polarization? And when the results come out tomorrow, will a lot of people be interpreting this to say that did that communal polarization work or not?
I honestly find this sad and bad. This is not my kind of politics. But then yes, there are few leaders who tried doing this. But I don't think, as I just said, I think people of Bihar this time, they just voted for development and nothing else. Not on communal lines, not on caste lines.
Okay. Advice that the RSS would be giving then, let's say the BJP and the NDA win tomorrow, and I'll come to the hypothesis in case they don't, in case it is a big win for the Mahagathbandhan, would that affect the advice that you give? So is that what's at stake here? That depending on what happens in Bihar, it could shape the way Indian politics is going to be conducted in the next 2 or 3 years?
Look, my point
is, if the BJP wins, will we see a lot more of cow, communal, those sort of things?
No, my point is, what do you mean by communal? If cow is to be equated with communalism, then...
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that communal...
Point is, Bikram, one thing that one has noticed, though I'm a lawyer, I do follow politics. One thing that I have noticed in Bihar this time around is, earlier on we used to talk about appeasement politics. Now, sadly, in Bihar elections, and this is my reading, and we have other eminent panelists here, my reading in Bihar this time around, the politics of threat was played out. That look, either you elect the Mahagathbandhan or. So that kind of politics that has been brought in.
It's also that either you elect the NDA or there's Jungle Raj.
No.
Sort of both ways.
No, it is not both ways. It is a politics of threat that has been played out.
But it was more from BJP's side that, Lalu Aya, and Sadhu.
No, so I'm on a communal platform issue.
Yeah.
Because when we are talking about communalism, Lalu Aya, that was queer Jungle Raj.
Okay.
And the industry of kidnapping and ransom.
Okay.
But the politics of threat was queer communalism, a particular kind of vote bank that people are looking into.
Okay, so Rana Ayub, I'm told you can't hear me now. Rana, your take on this. Let me get you into Bihar. Your interpretation of what the result tomorrow could mean, and how much is at stake out here? What happens if the Mahagathbandhan wins, BJP wins? Is it going to change the national discourse in some way?
It will in many ways, Vikram, and I've been hearing the discourse that elections in Bihar were fought on the development plank. I mean, where was development throughout the 5 phases of the poll or throughout the campaigning? The election started with the DNA of the Biharis. It was about tantrics. It was about crackers bursting in Pakistan. It was about the cow. So where was development? It was Mohan Bhagwat's statement on reservations. So I think development was nowhere in the picture. It was a communally polarized election. It's a high-stake battle for both, and it had to be. I mean, both the BJP and the Congress have used the communal card in every election. This time, it was a high-stake battle for the BJP, especially for Amit Shah, for whom it's a prestige battle in a way, because many in the BJP and its Sangh Parivar have accused him of centralizing the entire election process when it came to selecting candidates for the elections or having his own say. So, I mean, it was harakiri, to be honest, for Mohan Bhagwat to make a statement on reservations in the middle of elections when a majority of population in
Okay.
Bihar is Dalit and OBC. So there's high stake battle also for Nitish Kumar, who aspires for a national role in 2019 Lok Sabha elections. So it's a high stake battle for both Nitish Kumar and
Okay,
Amit
high
Shah.
stake